size Chanel sunglasses back on his head, a head of jet black real hair wig cut into curly layers down to his shoulders. He gives Victor a classic wink with his false eyelashes. "Save it for the fags, Pugliese," Victor says. 7 p.m. Heather Saylor wishes she hadn't arrived first. What had her horoscope for today said? Relationship could get too hot to handle. Do not confuse lust with love. She looks at a paper cut on her index finger, picks up the dwarfish Tabasco bottle and reads the label. Since 1868, for well over a century, the adventurous flavor of Tabasco sauce has fired up generations of thrill seekers. She uncaps the bottle, catches a pungent whiff, and carefully taps an orange drop on the paper cut. 9 p.m. They saunter into the glare of the coffee shop, 4 middle-aged women in cleats. Muddy cleats and muddier socks sagging over their shin guards, muddy ball prints on their sweatshirts. The football field at the high school where they scrimmage every week has coated them with the potency of competitive sport, rendering them magnificent rather than middle-aged. They are women who play soccer, women who kick butt, women who smell like earth and sweat, who are thirsty and hungry, women with appetites. 10 p.m. Tired from her 18-hour shift at St. John's, but too wired to sleep, Gwen Halverson sinks back in the booth as the waitress walks away with her order. She'd eaten a protein bar somewhere around 4 this afternoon, but now she's craving a grilled ham and cheese. At home, all she has is cereal. For a nurse who takes care of everyone else, she constantly skimps on herself. She looks down at the brown dots, camouflaged by the Christmas tree and candy prints of her scrubs. Mr. Gordon's blood from the IV insertion. After breath-holding, finger-crossing, silent-praying day, he was probably going to make it after all. Not so Mrs. Sullivan, a feisty former Hollywood hoofer who had been doing fine after her bypass and suddenly crashed around dawn, just before Gwen's shift began. Gwen had enjoyed the old woman's stories about the big sets on the sound stages, and she'd promised to look for her in 7 Brides for 7 Brothers the next time it came on AMC. Mrs. Sullivan had died. Mr. Gordon had lived. 12 midnight MB4. I came home from work at the usual time, just when Ben was waking up. His musky boy scent filled the room as he kicked off the covers and revealed his naked body. I was tired and couldn't deal with his hard-on. He pulled me down and we wrestled a bit before he gave up and went to take a shower. I lay there on top of the covers, still in my waitress's uniform, sleep wooing every cell of my body while the water pelted his and the bathroom tile, arrhythmically, lulling me to a delicious, delicate doze, broken by the sudden absence of sound as Ben turned off the faucets. In that deep silence, my groggy gaze ingested a plastic red barrette, perched on the moss-green sheet like an errant beetle. I cupped my hand around it and pretended to be asleep. There was only one thing to conclude. Someone had been sleeping in our bed. And I'm going to end with this. It's not the end of the story, not the actual ending, but it's the end of one of the stories, and I think it sums things up. A sensation of warmth softens our perception of these complex beings with their myriad thoughts that spark and sputter in their bone vaults. The occasional flashes of insight followed by forgetfulness. Their penchant for habits and rituals, how they butter their toast or stir their coffee, or celebrate the end of another year by painting fake snow scenes on the windows, elves and holly, and a reindeer with a big clown's nose. But most of all, we marvel at that sharp need and hard hunger pounding in their veins. So, thank you very much.